Hey guys, it's Megan. I wanted to talk to you today about intuition and what I mean when I talk about intuition. So, I think that accessing intuition and accessing spirit guides or getting messages from angels are actually all part of the same system. What I believe is that there is a force in the universe. I call it universal consciousness, but other people call it Atma or God, or there's lots of other different terms. But I think that it's this awareness or this consciousness that is a principle of the universe and that we are all part of. So it would appear that we're all separate beings, right? Like I'm an individual and, here I am, Megan, and here's what defines me, right? My body stops here, my hair is here, all of that, right? I stop at a certain place. But what I believe is that we are actually fundamentally connected to this larger consciousness or this larger awareness that is part of what drives the universe. It's probably a principle of the universe. And I think that what's happening is that when you access your intuition or you talk to your spirit guides or you get messages from angels, you're actually just opening up a little doorway to get information from this larger source that we're all part of and that has a much greater awareness than any of us do in our little human bodies, and get information from that source. So I think that spirit guides and angels are actually just personifications of this awareness, this consciousness that come through in a way that I can understand. It's sort of like my brain filters this information and brings it to me in a way that makes sense to me. So it comes to me in the form of a person talking to me. But when I get my intuitive messages, when I just get a straight download, right? I get a few words or a feeling or an awareness of something. I feel like that's coming from the same source. I personally think that in 20, 50, 100 years, something like that, science is actually going to understand how this works. I think that the time we're living in right now is a lot like if we were living in the year 1300, how gravity would work, right? So in the year 1300, people used gravity all the time, right? I mean, they built machines that worked with gravity, like catapults or, pulleys or something like that, right? They were aware of what it was. They were aware that there was this force that was universal and affected things, but they had no idea how it worked. It must have seemed like a big magic mystery back then. What happened, and then eventually what happened is Newton and some other folks figured out, gravity is a property of things that have mass. So since we are all standing on this planet that has a huge amount of mass compared to little humans standing on it or the little machines that we built, gravity is pulling on us. And so it turns out that gravity is a principle of the universe, and we just didn't know how it worked. But that didn't mean that people couldn't access it and couldn't use it and couldn't get the benefits of it, even if they didn't completely understand the science behind it or how it worked yet, right? I think that intuition is the same way. I think that we can all access this universal consciousness that we're all part of and use it and get information and build things around it, just like people built those gravity machines. We can build whatever we want to build around it, a life, a business, anything, by accessing this information, accessing this universal force, and using the information to help us. So I'd be really curious to know what you guys think. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you agree in parts and disagree with other parts, I'm super, super curious. If you want to comment below and let me know what your theory is or what you think, I'm always interested to know what people think intuition is or how it works or who you're actually talking to when you talk to a spirit guide or get a message from an angel or just get an intuitive hit. Where does that come from? I'm curious to know what you think. So that was my take on it. I hope you found that interesting, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.